It is official. The U.S. has named the 26 players who will represent our great country and compete in the FIFA World Cup this summer, beating the French.
No.
The roster is a mix, 50% World Cup veterans and 50% newcomers to the biggest stage in soccer. And we have a treat for you here. We have CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdes. Nicole, so you were at the actual team announcement yesterday. How did it feel, and what is different about this squad?
You know, I could feel the excitement, not only from the fans, the hundreds of people that showed up. They were so excited to welcome the U.S. men's national team, see who was going to be playing this year. But truthfully, you can tell that this team feels different. They are going into this World Cup confident. And a lot of the reason for that really has to do with several of the members of this team have more experience. They're a little bit older than the ones, who played last year in the World Cup. I will point out that half of the team this year is playing their first ever World Cup. So they're going into this as rookies, right? But for those who have played in games before, they've also had experience playing in Europe, right? Which is really the mecca of soccer or football, however you call it. And they think that they are really leaning into that experience to try to bring that to represent the U.S. this year. But overall, the focus has been the pride, the motivation to represent this country as a host country on top of all that. And, we're celebrating America 250. There are a lot of things.
So no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
But we talked a lot about that. I think that there was a big conversation among several of them, including rookie Alex Freeman. He's a defender. He is somebody that the team is going to be relying on. Goal differential is going to be a huge decider in these matches. And so we actually heard from him, and I asked him, do you feel that pressure?
Representing the U.S. in a year where the U.S. is hosting a part of this tournament, does that add a level of pressure?
Yeah, I'll be lying if I said it didn't. I feel like this can be something that could change U.S. soccer forever.
And now, we talked about there are some seasoned players there, some rookie players there. Overall, I think that there is this excitement, and I think a lot of people are talking about the growth of the fandom of soccer in the U.S. on top of that.
So you spoke to a rookie. How are the seasoned players feeling?
I think that they feel confident in the roster this year. There was some talk about who made it, who didn't make it, right? I think all of that is fair conversation, but now they're focusing. They've got their heads in the game. You can tell that they're locked in. And even yesterday when we tried to ask them, those fun questions, right? What's your favorite fan chant? What's your pregame ritual? They are focused on their opponents. I'll point out the first 3 games in the group round are actually countries that they've faced before. We've got Turkey, Australia, and Paraguay, all teams that they've played before. So they're trying to remember the lessons they learned from those games, bring them into the group stage, because they truly want to believe that they can go all the way and they can make the U.S. the 9th nation to ever win the World Cup.
Wow. I mean, I'm rooting for the U.S. And who are you rooting for, Black?
Don't worry. Don't worry. You can tell us whatever your true
I'm always here for
are.
Team USA, but I'm Team Bleu, Français. And, Haiti's in the World Cup for the first time since 1974. I was talking to Roger Bennett about this. The last time Haiti was in the World Cup was 50 years ago, and they scored a goal against Italy, which was, that one goal has fed a nation for 50 years. Just scoring a goal against a team like Italy. And so the fact that they're playing...
remember when we scored against Italy? Everyone was like, of course we do.
But that's a great point, because I think that the whole reason why the World Cup is such a big deal, not only does it only happen every 4 years, but it's that unity.
That's right.
Everyone comes together for their country, for their team. And no matter what's going on in your life, in the world, it brings that togetherness.
And it's global in a way that no other sport is. I was looking at the roster. There are a few foreign-born players on Team USA with accents even, what's going on with that?
Yeah, several of them grew up and were raised in Europe, and so some of them actually have dual citizenship. So they are eligible to represent.
And they play in European leagues.
They do, correct. Now, there are also, to point out, some Americans who play in European leagues. So that doesn't necessarily, qualify you or disqualify you. But the point is, if you have a dual citizenship, you can certainly choose what team to represent. But everyone that I talked to yesterday was proud to represent the U.S. in this World Cup.
I love
Nicole Valdes, always good to have you here in New York, and congratulations on your little soccer ball.
My little soccer ball.
She's hiding a soccer ball behind this soccer ball, guys. You know what we're talking about. A little soccer player on the way.